give this video as much likes as possible. Comment and share around in order for the algorithm to help your boy. And if you aren't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. So without any further ado, let's get going.
I can't believe this hasn't happened before. John Cena is here. So
we won't be able to say that after this because it's happening.
It's happening.
And it'll be like, hey, welcome back. Or you're never invited here again. One of those two.
Well, I don't know whether you're the 17-time champ or the 14-time champ. Because I've never, once they split the belts, it just became super confusing to me. You won the WWF/WWE title, the lineage title. That was 14 times.
You might be asking the wrong guy.
But then you won the Universal one 3 times, which I think used to be the old WCW NWA title that moved over.
You might be able to say any stat, and I'd be like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to count the 14 because I count them for the Boston titles for the century. Because we won 6 with the Pats, 4 Red Sox, 2 Celtics, 1 Bruins, and then you're 14. That's 27.
If the NFL absorbs the AFL, isn't it still a Super Bowl trophy?
So we'll count the other 3. That's great.
No, but I don't know. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I don't know.
31.
If the NBA absorbs the ABA, isn't the NBA trophy still the NBA trophy? I think...
yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think it's 14. And I think the 3 are over there.
We can semantics all day long.
Yeah.
I think what's important about championships in our business is it is the business card to show you're at the pinnacle of your profession. So regardless of like the origin story of it or whatever.
Right. And in the time when you were a champion many years ago, yes, or people around your promo, yes. But in today's climate, it's more like a participation trophy award. It's like you deserve it to any ham and egger.
When we deem this leather and gold, this thing that is manufactured, like, okay, this is it. You know, it's not as muddy a water as like boxing, but it is the symbol of like, hey, we're placing a pretty sizable investment on you.
Well,
and as a smart person, someone like you or like Batista, Brocklesnar, a Goldberg, and many others of that caliber around those times, you guys were able to capitalize on it. However, today's mediocrities are so entitled and so full of themselves that they won't do anything with it, and they'll destroy the ratings while being champion. And it's also due to a certain doofus who brought Whack and Old on the main roster.
It's a culmination. I mean, you especially, like you played football late 90s. You do some bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You were in that. There's like on YouTube that Discovery show where they did about what was that? OPW? Or I don't remember.
Ultimate Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
it was here in Orange County.
Yeah, so you're trying to figure out your shtick, all that stuff.
My God.
But within 5 years, you're the champ. But I always feel like when somebody wins the championship the first time, you can kind of see the disbelief in their face, even though maybe it's going to happen. But just like, holy shit, this actually happened, and I did it, and I climbed the mountain, and I'm here.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. If you saw, I just was able to perform one last time in the TD Garden in Boston.
Speaking of that episode, the only good moment that was there was the moment that involved you, but it was a bit infuriating to see a big nose still there. A glory hog, and I'd like to thank the guy for the Triple H sucks sign. Thank you very much, my guy, and big ups to you if you happen to see this video.
And on that night, I was able to have a match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Which I won for the very first time.
It was your last one, right?
The look on my face is like, what's going on? So I don't know if that wears off. That's an interesting perspective because every person I've seen, when they win it for the first time, has some sort of like look of surreal appreciation. But there was the same look I had a few weeks ago when I won the Intercontinental Championship for the first time in my 23 years. I've never had a chance to go for it.
Well, it's like, think about it. especially because wrestling's been in everyone's lives from day one, right? So, like, I think about my son when
I'd
he
like
had
to hope that's what we're trying for.
well, my son had the championship belt when he was 6, 7, and doing moves and beating up a pillow and pinning the pillow and then doing this. And then you think when you're an adult, it's actually happening. But even like when Hogan won, when he beat the Sheik, he seemed like everybody has the same look in their face. Like, I can't believe it. And the crowd's going nuts. And
it's weird because you do make a good point. Like, it is part of the curated experience of entertainment, yet it happens. I also think there might be, and I don't think this is our business particular, maybe, nothing truly happens until it does.
Right.
There's a lot.
In a way, yes, and in another way, it depends on the circumstances and you being pushed or not. And you making proof that you are a reliable talent, or if you're not a reliable talent.
Stuff that can happen between even the bell ringing and the bell ringing again, that can change outcomes or whatever. And these are moments, hopefully anyone who's involved in WWE's, thought about their entire life. And when they happen, there probably is a wave of surrealism that comes over them,
What were you, like 27?
Man.
When he won the title, I believe he was around this age, close to 28.
And again,
There's 2005. How old are you in 2005? You're like 27, 28. You're late 20s at that point.
Yeah, we'd have to work.
But you'd only been in the business for like 5 years.
I'd say 5 if you count the developmental and all, yes. But if you count the main roster thing, it would be 2 going on 3.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't know how much that matters. I don't know how much I care about that anymore. I think.
I'm just saying it happened fast. You went from like it'd be nice if I could get a WWE contract to
be in the
from
champ.
holding the belt.
Yeah, that is a pretty fast.
And what are the reasons why it happened? And I'm sure most of you already know that. It's because of the smart people that can make the most out of what they have. Prime example would be a John Cena, or like a Randy Orton, or like someone like a Booker T when he went from Booker T to King Booker, and Bradshaw from Bradshaw to JBL, and many others that made the most out of what they have. And those guys are smart. However, today's wrestlers are so entitled, they won't listen to constructive criticism, and they'll focus on being encouraged by like dirt sheets and marks
at a WrestleMania.
Yeah, but in all fairness, in the class I was brought up in the time, life is a whole lot of luck, and I was very lucky to be brought in at the time that I was brought in. So many tectonic changes were going on in WWE. I was in a very gifted class. And
yeah, you were.
There were members of my class that were made champion far before me with just about or a little less experience. So
he's got to be referring to guys like Batista, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. Randy Orton, he was a diamond from the get-go. There was something there, flagrant. Brock Lesnar, he is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Brock Lesnar is excellence personified, as I've explained in my previous reaction. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. As for you and Batista, you both had something there. You just needed the right thing.
It was just a case of good timing, and I think opportunity is a lot about good timing, and it's just a matter of what you do with it.
Yeah, it was such a strange era for WWE because it was like it coming off the most scorching hot time in the history of the company, right? You have this run with The Rock and Stone Cold,
and this whole
he defeats WCW.
Yeah, well, it's the whole mindset of like attitude and racy programming and competition, and then it's all kind of washed away. Like it was, we're kind of in the middle of what another boom in wrestling.
No question.
There's multiple avenues of competition. There's multiple outlets of programming out there. WWE has so much programming out there, and to somebody like me who just doesn't have a lot of time to invest in everything, it's like, man, I don't know how we sustain all this. But to our consumer, they want more. The more we can give them, the better. People are actually going to sit down and listen to this because this hopefully is going to drop
invested in people like yourself and the guys from the previous era, from the ruthless aggression era, as well as the attitude era, because the people that a certain knows from the NXT were absolute and utter failures, and you're seeing the results nowadays. Much like my guys TWRP said it, black and gold on the main roster.
Drop some breadcrumbs on, December 13th.
Right.
And they want more. They want to hear more. If I could sit down with you for 5 hours, I have a feeling our consumers would hang in there for it. It's just, we're in another golden age. I certainly, one was when it nationalized and WWF was put on cable television. I think that Hogan on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think that was one. I think the Attitude Era and the height of WCW, WWF competition was another one.
Yeah.
And I think here we are in yet another golden age, like a boom.
There was a little mini one when you and Punk were feuding.
Oh, don't even get me started on that thing, Bill, because this is one of the main reasons we're dealing with the mediocrity we're facing these days. Because of that, it led to the Daniel Bryan thing, and after Daniel Bryan, the black and gold, and don't even get me started on what it led. The mediocrities that we're dealing with these days.
I remember that was the first year of Grantland, but I felt like the internet had gotten really good at trying to read between the lines of what was real, what was not real, and it became like this own game. It wasn't as big as the things you mentioned, but it's definitely some sort of little mini era.
So like a moment of relevance is different. Like that unbelievable night that Phil that Punk had was amazing. And when it gets picked up by genuine sports outlets, like, oh man, he really did something great.
Yeah.
The Montreal,
it was good for you too.
I think it was good for everyone.
Yeah.
The Montreal Screwjob is another moment that's like, wow, this got picked up by a lot of folks, and it was a moment. But it
awoken all the degenerates that we're dealing with these days. It awoken a lot of degenerates, and it should have never happened. Someone like Punk should have never been a world champion, because people like him, much like his bipolar wife, will bring you nothing more than degenerates. And I'm being realistic. You're seeing these things right now.
Was kind of in a lull in the business. Sure. When I mean like boom, I mean like sustained bull market. Like wrestling is on everybody's mind from 1984 to like 1988. And then from like 1997 to 2001.
Yeah.
And now it's been like, I think COVID helped us out a lot. We were the only program that ran during the pandemic
that's a good point.
To give fans entertainment.
Right.
But it's probably been like 18, 19 to 25. Like it's grown exponentially. The better TV deals, being able to reach more global audience, having a crop of new stars and having...
Oh, about that crop of new stars. At least you're being professional, John. I'll give you that, but say it like it is. It's a bunch of mediocrities. Don't get me wrong. There are a few that have something there, but you see how they're being treated under a certain big-nosed doofus.
And the old stars kind of fade and transition, but like having the bullpen stacked, I think has helped. And the fact that now it's relatively easy to be a performer on TV, and I'm saying comparatively speaking, before there was only one Monday Night Raw with 2 hours of broadcast time on it. Now there's a bunch of different shows. TNA just announced another TV deal. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So there's a way for you as a performer to put your business card out there. Like it's been a great time to be a wrestling fan, and it's been a great time to be a wrestler.
Yeah, it's a good point because.
And speaking of that, at least there was at that time a normal a competition that entertained people, and you had alternatives. Nowadays, it's the same thing under different permutations. As I say it, same jobbers, different permutations. Not the same exactly, but similar archetypes.
Like when you came up, there was way less
man.
shows.
Yeah,
WCW got integrated in, and there just wasn't enough time for everybody. Everybody was pretty miserable for the most part.
So WWE had birthed SmackDown, so it went from 2 hours to 4 hours. But we absorbed ECW and WCW. So they absorbed like 250 contract talent for 4 hours of television.
With
22
seemingly
segments.
no real plan. Because you're just kind of adding. It would be like if the NBA just doubled the amount of players in the league, but had the same amount of teams or something.
Yeah. So we went through a name change. Get the F out. So we became WWE. The XFL failed for the first time.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was fired. The Rock went to Hollywood. Triple H was hurt. The Undertaker was hurt. Like, people don't understand, especially performers now. It's very difficult to tell them. You know, we just did Petco Park with like 46,000 people in it. We sold seats that didn't have a ring view. You had to watch on a monitor, but you could say
Because people like you around that time, John, were professionals and were competent people, and you had the thick skin. Nowadays, those ham and eggers are a bunch of snowflakes and entitled crybabies that will get pampered by dirt sheets and marks, and they will accept only when you praise them, but when you criticize them, giving them constructive criticism or like advices and all, no, they won't accept it. That's the difference, my guy.
You were there.
Right.
Man, I remember it was formerly known as the MCI Center in D.C., where Dave Batista's wife sang the national anthem. And there were 1,200 people in the building. Not 1,200 tickets sold. 500 tickets sold. 1,200 people.
Wow.
In where I'm essentially going to have my last match. You know, like, it hasn't always been this prosperous. And it really warms my heart to be able to look around the arenas and see the place jam-packed and the people excited, to see the promotion thriving, to see the talent really do well for themselves in a performative aspect and certainly like a financial aspect. They're getting paid a whole lot more than I was, but instead of like shaking my fist and saying, well, back in the day, we only made this much, I think that's a great way to show, like, I just want to leave the place better than I found it.
Yeah.
So now we got a bunch of millionaires because the company's doing well. Like, it's leveled up. It is leveled up in every aspect. Sports families are bringing us in. ESPN's welcomed us into our
They're welcoming, ESPN welcome, but only has been giving WWE bad grades. It means that business-wise, under Vince McMahon it was good, but under TK Ho, H-O-E, it's a failure. Corporate prostitution's at its finest.
family. Netflix has welcomed us into their family. Like, we're out there all the time. We used to have to struggle to get like a good time slot in Germany. And you have to do all these international TV deals. But now we're just on Netflix. So that helps global touring, which can keep demand high in the States. Like, it does so much, which can keep the business hot for longer, which we can pay talent better and create more stars.
Oh, speaking about creating stars, how come most of the people that are cared about are people in their 40s, like you, and the majority of those young ones, you don't get invested in them?
It's all really, really, really good. I'm just happy to be able to like see the beginning of this snowball get kicked downhill and see where it goes.
At least I'll give you that, John. You're being professional, even though this company really did you dirty on your final year. You're at least being professional. I can respect that. And as for your retirement tour, in my opinion, and most of people with a modicum of common sense would agree that your retirement tour has been sabotaged intentionally by a big-nosed doofus.
You also seem like you have like 4 different generations of fans at this point, right? You have like people like me, anyone over 50, who
probably
were there who remember like pre-cable, who remember like when Killer Khan broke Andre the Giant's ankle and when Sabisco turned on Bruno, all that stuff.
Sure.
And then you have the kids that kind of came up during that Hogan era, that they got indoctrinated to that. Then
then
you have
like
the kids.
Attitude Era.
Then the kids from rock, Stone Cold, that era. And then basically your era through punk. And those people are now adults.
I know they're bringing.
They're like
kids.
my kid, And or they're going after college and they can afford tickets now.
Yeah.
So it just feels like it's gone on and on.
And I also think that's what's great about the business. Like you're right, it does touch a lot of hearts and minds, and everyone has their story. Everybody remembers like their one moment from that era of like, no, but nothing was better than this.
Right.
Comparatively speaking, I think a lot of people view Saturday Night Live like this. Saturday Night Live is like, no, this cast was the best, and this skit was the best, and this moment was the best. And then someone else would be like, how can you say that when this year was the best, and this cast, and remember this skit? They've done so much great work, and they've had so many rosters of stacked comedians that they do have eras, and they do have like the best of this era. And it is zeitgeist generational comedy. So like if it moves you in a certain way, you can watch some of those skits back with someone who's never seen them and be like, it might not resonate. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you watch Hogan Sheik was the first match I ever saw that hooked me. But you show, a young mind who watches the way the business is now, you show them that match back, it might not resonate with them. You know what I'm saying? It was what I needed to see at the time.
Well, they always say with SNL that whenever you were watching the show when you were 13, that's what you thought your favorite cast was. And wrestling's probably somewhere between 10 and 13 when you were all in. I remember watching it with my son, and I knew it was going to happen because he was like this physical kid, like very, very expressive. And I was like, he's going to get hooked. And we took him to the Staples for one of the shows, and that was it.
Man.
And you became his guy immediately.
Well, he doesn't watch enough wrestling.
No, you were the.
You're being a bit too modest, John. Yes, the older guys were cool, yes, but don't downgrade yourself, my guy.
Like the little kid catnip.
Thank you so much.
I showed you 2 pictures that you had with my son when he was like 6. I was trying to think like, how many pictures do you think you've taken with little kids? So is it over 1 million?
I don't know.
I think like 22, 23 straight years of you posing with...
I could say as many as I possibly can. Because if there was anyone that I couldn't or anyone that I refused, I'd like to think that I had good reason for it. And I don't expect anybody to understand that. But like to this point now, and I'm not saying those pictures are over. I hope they continue. Because
definitely not over.
As a conduit to bring new minds to the business. But I would like to think from the second I was asked to take the first picture to right now, I have taken as many as I possibly can.
Well, and you're always nice too, because I always ask.
Not always nice. I'm a human being.
No, with the kid. Well, the kids, you understood the game.
Yeah,
and the kids are like deer in the headlights, freezing as they're standing next to you.
I don't think that's understanding the game. I think that's understanding the life. True. Like the conduct of some adults. I'm huge on respect. It's one of my core values. I wear it on my hat. Sometimes is extremely self-serving. And I don't mind that. We're all out to do our own thing. Kids are so honest.
Right.
They're honest. And you can see when an adult wants to approach you and the kid does not. And you can see when a kid wants to approach you and doesn't have the courage. Or if that kid is courageous and comes up to approach you, even if their social skills aren't honed, even if they're disrespectful. Like I gotta give a tip of the cap to a young person who is confident in self enough to come up and convey like, hey, I'd like to do this. I'd like a picture. And there have been some moments where like parents are shoving their kids at me where the child does not want this. It is a vehicle for the parents. And sure, the parent may be thinking someday you'll wish you took the picture, but that's not someday. We're now.
Yeah.
And that kid does not want any part of it. And I'll politely try to get to the kid's height and explain that like, it's okay if you don't want to do this. It's fine. In those situations, I want to try to take seconds I don't have. I have barely.
And that shows how much of a professional you are, John. And Modern Marks, you guys should learn from him. You know who I'm referring to. Diarrhea and Prima Donna Phil. You should learn from John Cena. Oh wait, you cannot lace his boots. He's too much above you.
A few seconds to speak with adults who come at any sort of relationship agenda from a selfish perspective. That's all.
I was in the best situation. When my kids were little, my daughter is 2 years older than my son. And we would go like backstage to some of the WD stuff. And she would be the handler trying to get photos for him. Nobody could say no to her. It wasn't apparent.
It's a good
And
gig.
the wrestlers were always like, this is great. Yeah, I'll do it. What's interesting about your career is I got to ask, like, nobody retires in professional wrestling or boxing.
Nobody but me.
Nobody. So why are you different? Why is this actually happening?
Because
Why should I believe you're not going to be back in 3 years from now?
you don't have to believe anything you don't want to. What I've
Yes, I do believe John Cena might be back in a few years if WWE will be saved from TKO's corporate prostitution and that Big Nose Doofus is booking, being Fraud Levesque. I do believe Cena would come back if circumstances become better for this company. But if it remains that way, I don't think he'll be coming back.
been able to do over 23 years is turn a lot of non-believers around.
Yeah.
And that is by my actions. I don't expect anyone to believe that, like, hey, I'm retiring. Oh, no, the precedent hasn't been set. The precedent for wrestling retirement is like a wrestling wedding, like something's going to go wrong in the wedding. No one ever retires.
That's a good point. Has there ever been a successful wrestling wedding?
Never.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I understand the skepticism. And you'll know I'm serious when I never come back.
Why do you think The Rock kept coming back, other than money? Because he left a bunch of times and became a pretty big movie star and didn't need to come back.
So it's difficult there because you're asking me to think for somebody else.
Yeah.
I know that I want to do it forever. I can speak from my perspective.
Yeah.
This is something I've heard a lot this past year. Man, you're going out on your own terms. That's bullshit. I want to do it forever. When you've been there live. Like, to anyone out there who doesn't understand what WWE is, or just go live. Like,
did you just look at the camera? That was impressive.
Sure, indeed. I'm just trying to.
I didn't realize you were going to go full performer on me.
But I want to let everybody out.
That's why you've been trained very well, John. I'll give you credit.
Out there knowing, like.
That confirms the theory of Cena Nader mode activated. Cena Nader, Daddy, yes, Daddy, Cena Nader activated.
When you step in that building live, it's just a different energy.
Yeah.
And I never want to let that go. But my body hurts. I'm a step slower. I promised myself and the fan base, like when I started, before I won that first championship, when I'm a step slower, I'm out.
And yet some people are saying you're having some of your best matches ever this year.
Yeah, but it's all I have left.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. And I want to go out at a level that is still passable and in some twinkles admirable, and not have to rely on luck. I got one date left. I have given my heart and soul to this year. It has taken a lot to just do 35 dates, whereas before I do 220 in my sleep.
Speaking of that retirement tour, it was sabotage that could have been done so much better. I'll go back to the match part in a bit.
Like, it is time to move on. And
220 in a year.
Easy.
So the 80s, it was like 330.
That's the thing. It's trickled down.
Then it trickled down. Now it's like normal.
Now I saw a stat. I think LA Knight has had the most WWE matches this year in 70.
Wow.
And I see that, and again, it makes me smile. It's like, now talent can wrestle longer.
Well, in the 80s, they're just hopping in cars. And
because someone like an LA Knight, he worked smartly. He worked in a way that every modern wrestler should. But those marks don't do like him, sadly.
Just driving to the next place and wrestling.
When it got national, it was different.
Yeah.
Like they would do morning matinee in Toronto, and then they would do the Garden. So like there were like 3 units running. It was a true live event juggernaut. Not that it isn't anymore. But
yeah, it's more stable.
Do a ton of events, as much as you can, and that's I think the concept of TKO is to try to pick your spots, try to make every event, out of control special as big as you can, and look at the globe instead of just the U.S.
So you said your body's obviously different after after an entire century of wrestling.
Yeah, it's a half century, quarter century.
What were the worst injuries? I remember you tore your pec.
Tore my pec, tore both triceps.
Both triceps?
Yeah. Broke my neck.
Yeah, that was probably the most dangerous one, right?
The most dangerous one because if not treated, so my tricep tears, that's serious. But if left to its own devices, eventually some of it will grab on somewhere, or it'll just stay torn, and I'll have a dent in my arm.
The fact you were able to come back after a neck surgery and all shows that being built in a decent size matters, because you'll have less chances of being damaged too much by the injury. Something today's marks should learn from.
Same with the pec, maybe it won't attach, but I can still move 75% of my body. When a disc ruptures in your neck and it gets pressed against all the energy and the cords and stuff that tell you to move, it can shut that stuff down.
Yeah.
So that was weird because it was outpatient. I remember getting fusion and going to SmackDown.
You got the fusion?
Yeah. It was early on. Dr. Maroon did fusion on me in 2007 or 2008. But I remember going under on Tuesday morning and then going to SmackDown in Pittsburgh. Walking in to say hello to everybody. And it was what the... Didn't you just get neck surgery? But it was
plus the history of wrestling, that sidelined some of the biggest stars we had. Stone Cold.
True, but then again, I started playing football at 15, so I started late, which is good. But I was always in the pit, in the trenches, so to speak. So you have 8 years of full contact football.
Yeah,
could be putting a bar on the back of my neck with heavyweight for an extended period of time, plus all the combative action that's involved in the sports entertainment. I think it's just overall wear. Well,
and also as the 2000s are going along and we move into the 2010s, wrestling is just becoming crazier and crazier with the bumps.
So so that's all.
The bar keeps raising.
That's all performative choice.
Yeah.
If you see the stuff that I do, it's as crazy as I can get.
Yeah.
But
you're not doing the Shane McMahon jumping 25 feet off of a steel cage.
And again, those are performers' choices.
Speaking of your matches and all, because today's fans, when you brought it up earlier, John, today's fans are dummies. They want to see moves and moves and moves and moves like New Japan and ROH and any jobber fan of that caliber, instead of having matches that have a meaning, a rhyme, and a story. That's the problem, my guy. Also, I'd like, when you brought up the 2010s, it was around that time when the standards started falling down. It went all downhill from there. Much like Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z. That was a Dragon Ball Z abridged reference, by the way. What I mean by this is that around the 2010s, 2014, 15 and all, after the CM Punk and Daniel Bryan thing, you started seeing mediocrities on the main roster, such as a Seth Rollins, a Sami Zayn, a Kevin Owens, and other Hammenegers. But you saw a few people that have something there, here and there, but been treated like crap, and the mediocrities been pushed. And you know who was behind it, manipulating the stuff. The cerebral assassin, the big nose dunce, Rod Levesque.
I tend to lean more on why are we fighting? What is the story? What is the reason I want to go in and yell for one guy and boo the other guy? And I think my hat's off to the athleticism that some of our performers possess. But the average NFL career is only so long because you have to be the best athlete.
Yeah, if you're a tight end, if you're Gronk, that's not going to be a 20-year career.
So again, the more you ask of yourselves, and I'm not saying for people not to try hard, but there's a lot of different ways to tell stories in wrestling.
Did you worry as this was happening that the bar was getting too crazy for what the bumps were?
No, and again, I don't mind performers choosing to take their time to do what they want with it.
Yeah.
I totally respect that. I've always had a good understanding of what I can do and what I can offer.
Yeah.
And I've only tried to go outside of that maybe once or twice. And that's when I've like, oh my God, I almost killed myself. So
Do you remember what was it?
I try to take I don't flip over well. And I tried to take a suplex where I flipped over. I didn't practice it. I just wanted to do the best I could for the person I was with. It was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I want to be okay for you. Almost broke my neck. It's just stuff that thinking that I was smarter than the business.
Right.
And those were mistakes, but I'm okay. So
Yeah, you seem like out of all the people who became superstars, almost like the most self-aware of what you couldn't do, how far you should push your character. I mean, you didn't become a quote unquote heel until this year. I mean, you did it earlier in your career, but
that's not my choice. It's not my choice to go out there and play a good guy or a bad guy. That's above me. That's a level above me.
Oh, speaking of that heel turn, what did it lead? The fans cheering for Cena and booing Cody Rhodes, which means either you could have gone like either way that King Mike proposed. Kudos to you, and things that would have made more sense. Go along with the plan that The Rock had. Would have made more sense and all. But no, it goes against what I want. So, shut it down.
It's a little bit your choice. You were one of the biggest stars they had. You have some say in it, don't you?
I don't view it as my choice. I don't want the stress of that. I've never done this. Like, I don't. You tell me, am I a good guy or a bad guy? Tell me who you want me to face. How long will we be working together? And that's when I want to get into the sand. This is the story I'd like to tell. These are the details I'd like. Like, I never pick opponents, never curated my stuff. Hey, we want you to turn heel, or like, hey, the crowd's booing, you guys should turn me heel. No, it's not that. It's not my sandbox. I think, in my perspective, a pro takes the tools that takes the subject matter that you're given and tries to make it something special.
So you trust the people who are paid to make.
Thank you very much for bringing a very interesting remark, John. It's up to you to take things that are given to you and you make them work. Thank you very much. You're confirming what I've said on my earlier videos, as well as other guys like Technical Work Rate Productions, King Mike, and even veterans that are saying the same thing. But when we quote this, marks will defend their favorite. Make it make sense.
These decisions, that they're going to make the right decision. That was Vince forever.
The answer to that's yes, but whether I trust them or not, it's their choice to make. So they say, be a good guy. Okay, no problem. In my mind, this is what I think a good guy is, and this is how I think a good guy would act. Is this okay? Yeah, sure. Like, that's the difference. I do see a lot of performers spend their time, invest their time to try to curate their own destiny.
Yeah.
And again, not wrong. The wrestling is a chicken soup business. There's no wrong way to do it. I just always wanted to know what you need, the outcome you want, the piece in the chessboard I can play, and can I do it my way? Like, once we get all those things together, can I do it my way? Is that
a good way of looking at things, John? I'll give you credit.
Fine.
Sure. Well, there's one other piece that you're really good at. And it's funny because sports talk is a little like this too, or being on TV or being in crews. I've talked about this a lot on my podcast. When you're with somebody every day, when you're with them once in a while, when you're on a show that has 5 people on it, you have to sell the other people and they sell you. And it's a quid pro quo, right? And if other people that you're with are doing well too, that's good for you. And if they're selling you, that's also good for you. And a lot of people don't understand that. Wrestling, I think, is the ultimate example of that because...
Talk more about that. What do you mean?
Well...
You're bringing a very interesting point, Bill. And I agree with you 100%.
To have a good match, both people have to buy in. You have to sell the person you're with. They have to sell you. It can't just be a one-person thing. It's got to be both of you. And I think you've been really good over the years at always having good match. Like there's been other people right like this, right? Like Ric Flair was always like famously always had good matches. Was always good at the other person. Always came off well when they wrestled Ric Flair. I think that was the case for you.
It depends on the match, right? Like, and I've been in all sorts of stories.
Yeah.
When you are told, hey, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy. You have 4 minutes on television. And the purpose of our 4-minute commercial is to make John look unstoppable.
Good point. Thank you, John. You brought a very interesting point once again. Make the most out of the time that you have. But no, today's marks are so entitled, I need to get my shit in for 30 minutes. And it's not going to benefit me if I have like 5 or 4 minutes or like 6 minutes. No, their egos are too huge these days. Thank you for bringing this up, John.
So the way you can do the best for me, for you, and for the match is to bump like a madman and lose.
Yeah.
A flip scenario of this is the famous Suplex City match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam after he had defeated The Undertaker. How does one follow breaking the streak? The most mythical thing in sports entertainment that a lot of us thought would never end. And this beast breaks it.
Yeah.
I'm up next.
Yeah.
How do we follow that?
I think I went to that match.
It was in LA, so you probably did.
I did. I thought you were going to die.
Exactly. So how do we make this guy who won this huge thing, definitely not a fluke. If I went out there and had a 50-50 performance with Brock Lesnar is capable of making anyone look fantastic by the way.
A great point once again, because Brock Lesnar, as I've illustrated it in my previous reaction, Brock Lesnar is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Brock Lesnar is excellence personified. And knowing Brock Lesnar has ended the streak, so it would only make sense for Brock Lesnar to continue what he did in a match with John Cena the way the match went. It only makes sense from a continuation to the first accomplishment. But no, those fans don't learn it that way. They'll pretend, Brock Lesnar only suplex and all blah 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 blah. That's what those fans will say these days.
But that didn't help Brock, that didn't help the story, and it didn't help all of us.
I can't say that night was a good time.
But
watching you getting annihilated.
And that's another thing. When you sit there live, it is a one episode thing, but it's not.
It's the vibe that gets weird because people are like, oh my God.
So
is he going to really get hurt here? What's happening?
Do it knowing there's a lot of things here. And I love talking about this. I could talk about it all day. What is the purpose of the match? Okay,
it's always audience reaction, right?
No.
What is it?
It depends. The purpose of that match was to get Brock Lesnar over strong on our most cherished, strong, and believable intellectual property. If he can beat The Undertaker, he's a beast. If he just destroys John Cena,
he's a monster.
I want you uncomfortable and looking over to your shoulder, your friend being like, who the F is going to beat this guy? And along comes somebody like Roman Reigns. Finally, he can do it. You know, like, and that those moments, you leverage that SummerSlam, that single serving packet, in a microcosm. This is why I said you got a lot of stuff there. In a microcosm, and this is the first time I'm reflecting on this year because it's a narrative that's going, but we got one left, so who cares? The match Cody and I had at WrestleMania,
which was awesome.
Some people would say different, but it was not the end of our story. It was.
I wouldn't say it was awesome. It was whatever because due to the Travis Scott involvement and all. But you have Marks blaming The Rock and blah 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 blah. The Rock didn't show up because the idea that he had was a lot better, but a certain big-nosed doofus decided to go the other way. So Rock doing the thing he should have done, you'll leave him and you'll let him assume the consequences. Good way to go, Dwayne. I'll give you that. And I'll give you credit, John, for making the most out of what was there.
Like the end of Act 1, knowing that like you got Cody, you got to turn bad. Eventually, this is going to happen.
And you turning bad was only to protect Cody, but Cody should be a heel because all the signs are there. You have a pompous, vain, superficial goof and a snobbish one. All the traits combined for a heel. And people only want to see Cody get beaten, which means all the signs are there for him to be a heel. But no.
I want to remain a babyface. I don't want to turn heel.
No, Cody, be a heel because it fits you great. Why do you think dashing and undashing Cody Rhodes worked before? Dummy.
And we need you to peak at SummerSlam. That's the end. Performers get in their head just like they get. You had said like performers want to show the best they can, thinking that's best for the match. They also get in their head that like WrestleMania is the end. I got to go out for WrestleMania and tear the house down. I'm not saying you don't.
It's like the NFL playoffs for wrestling, basically.
But if it's the first chapter of your book, it's not. You can't end the book in chapter 1. So we had by design, we had a very methodical match with a very simple.
Oh, speaking of that match, it was nothing more than absurdity at its finest because you had someone like you being like nothing more than a finisher fest, a SmackDown versus Raw type of match that doesn't make any sense when a match should involve a story and make it look as real as possible. All that match did was establish Cody as like an unbelievable force, when in reality Cody is nothing more than an overhyped mid-carder, as he should have been all along. He's a mid-card schmuck pretending to be a main eventer. And the signs are there.
Simple end. And we thought we would have some parts and players. Those disappeared. It didn't matter because it was the end of Act 1. So we had like Act 2 and then Act 3. And then if you compare what we did in April to what we did in August, which is...
one of the matches was awesome. Maybe it was the summer. I got confused. The SummerSlam one was awesome.
Because that was the end of our story. And that's the ride we're taking fans on. But it's as difficult to conceptualize as you're not coming back. Like, no, everybody comes back. You had this match at WrestleMania that left me. I wanted more. Yeah, no kidding. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
Because although we know that like WrestleMania is the end of our season, when it came to Cody and I, that was just the beginning for us. And certainly just the beginning for me after them choosing to say, well, now you're a bad guy. Okay, I'm a bad guy in February. I got to the middle of April to figure this out. What's the best way I can do it? And what's the best way I can do it? Integrate it. And then look at my morality in August. You know what I'm saying? That's a short time to accomplish all that. But you have to be...
It's like rating a TV season. Like if you're doing Breaking Bad or something.
Commit.
Yeah.
You got to get suplexed 19 times and lose sometimes.
Yeah.
To know what's on the other side. And the Cody thing had to do with Cody and I. Me and Brock, I'm getting killed for Roman. I'm hoping like, man, keep going. Hope you get it over. If it's not you, Brock's going to keep on this path and hopefully somebody, but like I never ask, how can I look good? When I sit down with an opponent, I love anecdotes. The first time I ever worked with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
He is the nicest human being in sports entertainment. And I always have I can find some energy of like, you said this about me in an interview once, or like, man, I don't like the way you work or whatever. AJ's such a good guy. And I sat down and I'm like, man, this is going to be okay. Why are we fighting? I said, what do you mean? Why are we fighting? I want to be the champ. That's not good enough.
Good point, once again. But today's wrestlers, no, they don't understand it that way. No, they just, I want to wrestle you because I think I'm better than you. I respect you, you respect me. The typical jobbers of honor type of stuff. I know it's Ring of Honor, but I called it sarcastically Jobbers of Honor.
Take a second to yourself, figure out why we're fighting. I went on my bus and scoured the web to try to find out anything this guy's ever said. Just anything, a sentence. Never speaks bad about anybody.
Yeah.
So then I came back to him, and like literally after 2.5 hours, he was finally like, okay, this is AJ. This isn't Alan. But maybe AJ's thinking that if you were never around, I would be where you're at, and I'd be so much better. Because when in that ring, I am better. I'm like,
And I'll give credit to both you and AJ, because both you and AJ are extremely competent people and are consummate professionals. Kudos to you.
we got it. And we built our story, culminating with even the match at the Royal Rumble with I, AJ, am a better in-ring performer. You are charismatic, but hella lucky. You put these two in a ring together and I will run circles around you every time. And that's where audiences are like, your son would be like, hell no, that's my guy. Anybody that watched TNA would be like, our guy's finally getting a shot. This dude's awesome. Wait till he can do his stuff. And now you're divided and now you're interested. And that's an issue that you can run with, but you have to sit and ask, why are we fighting?
Well, you just tapped into the most important word in the history of wrestling, jealousy. It's been like 80% of the rivalries,
I think
right?
it's because it's something that people understand.
Yeah.
Those stories have to come from a place, redemption, jealousy, anger.
Why you and not me?
Whatever it
It
is.
should have been me is great. It always
We
works.
stole this.
Yes, a good point from both of you. You can use things like that in order to establish a storyline. Envy, animosity, or like some sort of real life heat. Many other examples. Instead of the usual, I respect you, you respect me, I think I'm better than you, 20-minute match, who gives a crap? And I know I'm not the only one that has been saying this. Many of the ones that have a modicum of common sense have been saying the same thing as I do.
For me,
They did that with Hogan all through the 80s. It was Paul Orndorff was the first one. It was great. And then Macho Man was the best of all of them.
It's an emotion we all have. We all can understand. And I think that's why it's like, I want to be the champion. I never rest at that. That's never good enough. There has to be something more. And when you have that, it's great. Like anytime you have on the mic, if you ever get lost, you know where you are because I'm supposed to feel jealous of you. Anytime in a match, you know how to act. If you are jealous or if you finally are cresting that hill and now you feel confident, how do you act? How do you move? What do you think the audience will believe? The answers to these questions aren't perfectly placed, but man, they're easier to come by. So instead of being like, we'll do stunt after stunt after stunt, you can build this thing. You know, just going back to AJ, where he completely, in the beginning of those matches, out-wrestled the hell out of me. And I was out of my place. We told the story of, I'm going to be better than you and then you are, and my world is crumbling.
And that match, in my opinion, should have been like a 5-star, much like another example of a 5-star match, Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Because you had all the elements required to have a good match. But no, today's fans are like the dirt sheets, like a Dave Meltzer and many other marks of that caliber. No, they want circus clowns and charismaless acrobats and SmackDown versus Raw types of matches, I mean. And those, look at the results that you're getting now.
And then finally, I start doing a little of my stuff, which is more like throwing ham bones.
Yeah.
But then I start hitting him with like my best stuff, and he kicks out, and I'm like, who is this kid? Why won't he go down?
Yeah.
And maybe he's right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my world is crumbling. Like those are just by saying like, I think this is why we're fighting. You can dig into so much, and I know this. A lot of performers don't do that. because I'll always, in a post-mortem sense, if I watch matches, I'll watch and be like, okay, you did this and this. Why were you guys fighting? What do you mean? We were on the main event. We went out there for a match.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And I'm not saying that someone who doesn't ask or answer that question cannot be successful. But if you know the story, think of sports. Some games a lot of people watch.
Yeah.
And some games they just don't. There's games on all the time. Games of everything on all the time. But if there's a rivalry or if there's meaning, like college sports, my
Chiefs
God,
Cowboys, 57 million people on Thanksgiving.
man.
An important game for both teams, two famous teams, two good quarterbacks.
And there's a million stories you can tell.
But there's an ego piece to this, though, which it sounds like you were always thinking about what was good for the business, the storyline. How could you think big picture months and years in advance? And then there were other people who, especially those stories are more famous in like the 70s and 80s of like, I'm at this spot. How do I keep this? How do I? And this was a big topic after Hogan died about that he, the big criticism with him, at least in the 80s and 90s, was that he didn't pay it forward.
Oui, je suis là. Oui. Malheureusement, rien que من الآخر je peux. Parce que ta chaîne أوتاه من مرة. Pas de souci, je t'en prie. Y a pas de souci. Not bad. I'll be right back.
That he was always trying to hold on to what he had and not.
So again, I think there's a lot there, and
Malheureusement, je me suis habitué à cette chanson.
I always try to look at life of like the controllable. What can I do, right? Wrestling was a territorial gangster business, and it was cutthroat. So if you did have something going, you wanted to keep it. It has its origins from carnival performing, which is even more cutthroat. It then gets nationalized. Just because it gets nationalized, just because we end segregation, you can't change. It takes a long time to change people's mind.
Right.
So just because it gets nationalized, you don't take the gangster out of the guy. Like they still have to operate like that. Any story I heard about non-meritocracy, I don't like it. I don't like it. And there'll be people to criticize my career or my actions or whatever. They have the right to feel how they want. I believe best person, best idea wins. And I believe sports entertainment is the perfect meritocracy because you know the sound of noise. And promoters, whether they like you or they don't, there are these age-old tales. Well, I didn't get the shot because a promoter didn't like me. Promoter didn't like me, hated me. Everybody hated me, but they heard the noise. So they got to give me at least one more chance. And in that one more chance, you got to get the noise again. And if you get the noise again, you get another chance. And then you get another chance. And then eventually the promotion, the office, they like you. Because not only with all these chances have you
A good mindset, I'll give you credit.
got the noise every time, but in my case, I want to be a reliable employee. I want to be somebody you can invest in and bet on. I want to carry myself well as an advocate for the company I love. My job is to fake fight. I am doing the thing that as a 6-year-old with the paper belt, I'm doing it. I don't want this to go away.
Right.
And there'll come a time when someone does it way better than me that, okay, great. No problem. It's your turn. So again, I guess I enjoy hearing that because you're not wrong. Stamping your territory and being the top draw. You want to see who somebody really is, give them power. You want to see who somebody really is, take it away. Like, I don't blame anybody for trying to keep where they're at. But I've always operated in the way I'm going to keep where I'm at is put us out there, put a mic in my hand, put us out there and let the bell ring. And I'll always get the noise, and I'll always be as prepared and ready and like on my game as anyone you put me in there with, no matter what. And when it's time for me to go, I'll go.
The power thing's funny, kid. I was just talking to my old agent, James Baby Doll Dixon, about this, who reps all these TV people.
Talk to me about the nickname.
And he's great, Baby Doll. Well, he calls everyone Baby Doll, so he just became Baby Doll.
Right on.
But we were talking about somebody who, as they ascended, kind of became more of an untrustworthy asshole that we know. And I was like, I just didn't see it in the early stages. I didn't realize they were going to be like that. And he was like, that's the thing. Everybody's got it inside them, but you don't know what's going to happen until they get some power. When they get power, something shifts. And
I don't know, though. I mean, like,
I just thought it was an interesting take. I was like, oh, so
I'll give you
not everybody has it in there, but sometimes if it's in there and then all of a sudden you get opportunity and power, it can tilt it.
You're bringing a good point, Bill. I'll give you credit.
I'll give you another take. You're right. It's not fastest person wins, right? It's opinionative, objective. It's floor gymnastics. So it's kind of like if you're cool or not. I don't know how many folks came from where they came from to wrestling, like being cool.
Right.
So it might be a little imposter syndrome. It might be a little like lack of self-worth. A lot of performers, including myself, want to be out there because out there it feels like home. You're comfortable. You're accepted. But you kind of struggle with who you really are. And if people see your flaws or imperfections, then maybe it's all gone. Like it's weird. Like I've told the WWE I'll never be able to thank them, especially the audience, for making me the human being I am today. And it's just time under tension. I think if my career were shorter, maybe my decisions or my perspective in life would be different. But I've had to go through so much, or I've gotten to go through so much.
Yeah.
I've been told you're a good guy.
And also you should be thanking your parents for doing a proper job raising a competent person like you. I'm sure your brothers are the same, even though I don't know them on a personal level, nor do I know you on a personal level. But from what I was able to see throughout your career and throughout your interviews and all, your parents did a good job. I'll give them credit.
You own the sandbox, no problem. I get out there and the noise is opposite of the good guy. I've had that for a long time. So I still have to traverse the obstacle of like, how would a good guy do this? And in doing that, man, humiliated, embarrassed, bullied, picked on, but all part of the act. Because when you're in the arena, it's part of the act. Business is business. You know, people have grabbed the microphone and attacked me personally. We blur the lines a lot. Gosh, fans of my bald spot, they convinced me to get a hair transplant. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful. But like, you're out there and it's very fragile. And I've seen so many gifted people like not make it because it's so very fragile. You need to have like so many things in line to have a sustained good career. And that a lot of that is like having control of your mental health, you know? And I think a lot of
and having a really thick skin.
Yes, that's a main requirement to succeed in that business. And embrace the character that you have. These are very good points, indeed. Something today's marks should learn from, but sadly, they don't listen to us to veterans when they're given constructive criticism. No. They'll believe their own hype, fed to them by marks.
I think especially you came in the 21st century during the internet era as wrestling was completely changing into this different, all the message boards, all the cheat sheet. Everybody had an opinion. Then social media comes with Twitter and Instagram and stuff becomes meaner and meaner and people become faster to jump on or off somebody. And you're just navigating this the whole time.
I've also tried to be patient. I think you can just let things play out. You don't always have to answer every question. You can leave people wanting more. You can wait. And like, again, I was getting bullied live before message board. So I had I had already been through it, but,
I think it's funny. Like you come in right around when LeBron comes in, right? LeBron's still playing. You're still wrestling. Stuff that in the 1970s to think that somebody would still be at the top of their game in their early 40s in basketball and their late 40s in wrestling seemed pretty inconceivable. And you both had the ups and downs. He had a bunch of, like, his big thing was the decision when he became basically a heel in real life for, 6, 7, 8 months. He's getting booed in stadiums. Just feeling the wrath of the internet and just how people are, which you felt too. And you just kind of, at some point, it almost like it gave LeBron more focus and more inner strength, and it kind of helped him achieve all the stuff he achieved in the second half of his career. Like, he wouldn't be denied, So in some ways you could say it was like the best thing that could happen to him, but it's weird to say that.
Well, it's weird to say because it is what happened. Like,
right.
In my case, I guess I always try to look for a good explanation, right? In our business, when you hear negative noise, the knee-jerk reaction is to jump on the audience, to turn heel, so to speak, to be a bad guy. But that's not what I was told. The person who can make those decisions and the creative body making those choices is saying, like, we're not doing that.
Well, that was Vince.
And even now, like in some cases, let's take the year of retirement. I think a lot of people.
Oh, speaking of that year of retirement, it was sabotaged willingly by because we all know how he feels about you and other Vince guys or similar archetypes. People like you, John, or a similar archetype, expose as whack and old flunkies for being the mediocrities that they are, and him being the petty, insecure, immature man-child he is. He cannot handle criticism, so he'll have to take his revenge on you.
People were wondering what would happen if John Cena turned heel. Here I'm if I turned heel. And then when I did, it left a taste in people's mouth that they didn't like it. And like, they wanted other stuff. I wanted a music change. I wanted a uniform change. I wanted him to act like this.
Well, we've been talking about it for 15 years. Never thought it was going to happen.
I got 11 months to do this, 36 TV appearances. It takes 5 years to get a guy over, regardless. If you turn him, it's going to take a year or two on television for it really to sink in, especially if you really want to get into it and then be able to flip and then get a guy to get a nice, or get a performer to get a nice flip on the other side when it's time to turn again. I don't have the time to tell the right story, but that's besides the point, because I'm told we're going with this story. We sure are. I'm gonna do the best I can, and
that's you being a professional once again, and a certain clown, a big-nosed doofus, reaping all the benefit due to the pop.
Be able to hear the audience be surprised, and then kind of like, this is not what I wanted. It's not that you may or may not have wanted me to turn bad. It's that a lot of people started to realize, like, when I came out in Intuit Dome, I was like, 36 dates, that's it. It's hard to conceptualize. The first time I put a counter on after Vegas, and it went down to like, right down to 24. It was like, whoa. And then then the site started to pick up like 15 left, 12 left, 10 left.
So you're glad you structured it that way mentally, it sounds like. Like that you had it all for this whole year. Like, this is how it's going to play out.
By design, because I knew it had never been done. So how do I continuously send messaging of like, you're never going to believe it. You're never going to get it. I have to reinforce the fact that this is it.
I still don't believe it.
which is fine, which is great. And hopefully 10 years from now, we can sit here again.
I'm like, oh, he really did it.
Are you coming back yet?
2038. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
He wasn't lying.
I've been in a high level of performing for 23 years. I have minimized foolishness in my life. I've been compensated fairly. I have my health. Also,
you have a side gig. You can be the star in movies.
I appreciate you saying that. That's also beyond my control. I don't know when the phone rings next. Yeah. But in the height of all that, in doing 220 days a year for, 10, 12 years straight, the most important thing in my life was WWE. And it's not anymore, and that's okay to say. I'm still obsessed. I'm so passionate about it. I'm not obsessed. I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Very passionate about wrestling on my days off. On my free time, without any compensation, I will go anywhere I can. If my partner and I say, hey, you have an off day, what would you like to do? I'd like to go watch younger talent perform and critique them. That's what I enjoy doing on my.
And that's how you know that someone is truly devoted to their jobs and someone that is a professional. Kudos to you, John, for that.
My time off. So I'll always be around it. But man, like, how much more do I want? You know what? There's always another crowd to perform in front of, but like, gosh, maybe if my actions set an example for this class, hopefully my actions about political behavior over the course of 23 years have set an example. I can tell you, in my perspective alone, I don't know if this is truth, but from my perspective, there is a lot less political activity now, 2025, than when I started in 2002. So it ain't, I can't say it's done, but I can say it's greatly minimized. And if that's because of me, great. If it's not, great, because that's what I wanted in the first place. So maybe as the first wrestler who actually retires, I set a precedent for young people to be like, man, I want to strive to give it like 2 decades and then go out the biggest way I can. It's also a different business model for athletes. Do you keep holding on for one more and then one more and then one more, or take a look within yourself and be like, man, I can give you guys like the best year I can. Can we figure out what that is and figure out what the compensation is for that?
We just saw this happen in the NBA. Chris Paul, who decided to have one last year in the Clippers, and he hung on too long. It was
we see 41 it all the time,
and then they waived him today as we're talking about this. It's like, oh, it shouldn't have ended like that.
But it should have, because that's what you want. Like, I do not blame any performer for wanting to continue to get out there. It's beautiful, man. I'm gonna miss it so much, but I've seen it.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be it. And now with one left, man, if I have to pump myself full of adrenaline to make sure that I give all I got, I have enough left in the tank for one match.
Well, so
speaking of that match, I don't even want to think about it, knowing that it's going to be against Gunther, the mediocre, and knowing how Nosferatu favors Gunther, the mediocre. I'm only watching this match for you, John. If it's for that mediocrity, I couldn't care less if he's on TV or not. And that mediocrity being Gunther.
I was at the first Netflix Raw.
Yeah.
The night before the Fire Sphere. You came out. The 2 notable things from that was Hogan came out and got really booed, and almost like I think some famous wrestling people would have kind of felt the crowd.
And it was extremely disrespectful. You do not do someone like that way. It only shows how ungrateful and how unprofessional these marks really are towards a legend like Hulk Hogan. Because if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, wrestling wouldn't be as popular as it is these days.
Energy and turned it. And it was almost like he didn't know what to do. So that was one notable thing. And the other one was when you came out, and it was clear it was like this purposeful angle that everybody had put a lot of thought into. And nobody tipped me off on it. But as I was watching it, I was with my son, and I was like, oh, this is smart. I see what they're doing. They're making this like the year of Cena. he's going to make one last run at trying to win the title. And like, I see what they're doing here. And I think it went better than anyone could have expected. The heel piece was the thing. It seems like you have like small regrets about it.
Not at all.
No?
No, I have.
You don't think do you think it went perfectly, or like what would you have changed if you did it over again?
What is perfect? Here's what I do know. Perfect is never achievable. I think that's a sucker's chase. When I look back on it, could I have given any more than I did? Not a bit.
Yeah.
I over-prepared. I tried to go to every corner of my emotional well-being. And the cool thing is, like, when the audience began to turn, we turned.
Yeah.
So, like, they helped it out. And that dynamic was a little bit ahead of schedule for, let's say, Cody and I, but it made for a great showing for the summer. So you choose, you make, again, anecdotes, make New Day a bunch of heels. They're aspirational pastors, but they're bad guys. The crowd booed them, and then they loved them. Nobody wanted to change them good, but hey, it's time to change them good. You know, let's try John like this. I know we have limited time, but let's do something really big. Okay, it didn't work. Didn't mean I didn't give my all. You know, I often talk about a main event on WrestleMania I had with The Miz a long time ago where The Rock came down to interfere.
That was a good one, by the way. Yes, it was a good one. The one when The Miz bragged about it for years. I do remember.
Everyone knew Rocky was coming. The match between Miz and I was lackluster as far as audience involvement because they were waiting, obviously, for Dwayne Johnson, who wouldn't want to be just looking towards the entrance.
Yeah.
Miz got knocked out, won the championship with a concussion. Like, we beat the hell out of each other. We couldn't give anymore. But looking back, I didn't understand all the things, and maybe we should have done something different because we should have just got Rock out there earlier. But that piece was also, again, it's WrestleMania. I think we had to blow it off. That piece was a building block for a year later in Miami. Because the next day on TV, we challenged each other to the Miami WrestleMania. So it was like leveraging WrestleMania for another WrestleMania. I just wasn't used to it. I didn't get
And that's an example of a long-term booking, not the lie being fed by a certain doofus named Fraud Levesque or Nosferatu.
the perspective. And it worked. It ended up being one of the most successful events in company history. So when you say like, oh man, you seem a little bit like this. I don't. It happened. It was great. And it helped. It paid off. And this whole year, I think, has been special in that regard. People have bought in. And I'm so glad because after this, I don't have another chance. If they didn't buy in, I would just go. You know,
fake an injury in July. It's like
no. I would do the rest of my dates, and then I could look back and be like, man, I held on too long. But in these shows, like it's now become, you want to be on these shows. We have tons of people watching. We have sold out arenas and stadiums. It's a chance for you to show your business.
Well, you made one mistake.
Please, I'm open to criticism.
Why wasn't the last match in Boston?
That, again, that's way beyond my control. I don't book the live event calendar.
My guess is that
if it was up to me, every match would be in Tampa.
But my guess is
like
they knew the Boston.
The
match.
mistake is I didn't have 36 matches in Tampa.
I know, but you're like the Boston home team, though.
Trust me, it was great to be able to go back there one last time.
My guess is they thought that could be its own thing, and your last match could be its own thing, and they didn't need to combine those two things.
No, I think the reason why the match wasn't in Boston because you gotta suck shine on me, and I'm too fragile of a egomaniac. No, sabotage it for Washington. Probably that, because it was maliciously done in order to avoid getting the riots from the crowd. You have to understand how Noseman works, or Nosferatu, or Fraud Levesque.
You never know. I don't know if the garden was available.
Possible.
So you never know. Like that's a thing of like, man, it would be perfect for you. Like you don't know the routing, you don't know live event hurdles that they have to go through.
It was an emotional event.
It was great.
The last Boston match.
And it was like the last, then you can get a bunch of last ofs. The last SmackDown in Chicago where I started.
Yeah.
The last time in TD, the last time in NSG, my last Raw, my last premium live event or pay-per-view in San Diego. And then, of course, the last match. And in trying to create the atmosphere for the last match, folks in creative were like, hey, we want to do like this tribute thing. And I never booked myself.
Yeah.
But I called Triple H and I said, I have an idea. You'll know how to do this because I don't know how to write television. But I think if we do a tribute show, one of two things are going to happen. It's either going to be too much or too little, which means it's not going to be good. Why don't we take Saturday night's main event? Everyone knows it's John Cena's last match. The video packages, you want to trickle in there throughout the night, no problem. Then we go to the match, have the match, that's the night. But beforehand, on a night I know people are going to be tuning in, we're going to have a sold out. It's going to be definitely an item, a ticket you want to have in your hand. And that last piece of relevant energy that I can get an audience member to tune into. Show the future of your business. Have top name WWE superstars, CM Punk, Charlotte Flair, who you put it together how you want. Have them have non-canon exhibition matches with the future of the business. Bring kids up from NXT. Get them in a building with real noise, with real energy. Let them get under the bright lights. Maybe, just maybe, like, I want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And they get to wrestle people with experience and wisdom and in non-canon exhibition matches where nothing's on the line. It's just a chance to see, it's a chance to hear.
Salut. Non, non, pas qu'il me semble. الو وي قلت لك نكملوا بالكوكس وغدوه ندير كاش حاجه كاش غراتان ولا حاجه on verra bien صح لا توت sorry where was I
Beforehand, on a night I know people are going to be tuning in, we're going to have a sold out. It's going to be definitely an item, a ticket you want to have in your hand. And that last piece of relevant energy that I can get an audience member to tune into. Show the future of your business. Have top name WWE superstars, CM Punk, Charlotte Flair, who you put it together how you want. Have them have non-canon exhibition matches with the future of the business. Bring kids up from NXT. Get them in a building with real noise, with real energy. Let them get under the bright lights. Maybe, just maybe, like, I want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And they get to wrestle people with experience and wisdom and in non-canon exhibition matches where nothing's on the line. It's just a chance to see, it's a chance to hear the music of your favorite superstars against someone you have no idea. And he said, that's a great idea and they're going to do it. I have no clue what the plan is, but I know that's how I want to go out.
Right.
I want the people who are tuning in for me to be like, yeah, but you see that other kid? I'm watching next Monday because he's awesome or she's awesome. You know, like, what a better way to tip the cap and try to keep the thing going, you know?
What would you tell 2003 John Cena? If you could give him, go in a time machine, give him like 2 tips of advice, what would it be?
There's going to be this thing called Bitcoin that the Winklevosses are going to debut in 2012. I'd give him a sports almanac. I'm kidding. No, I don't, it's weird. I get asked that question a lot. I can't.
You get asked that question a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now I feel like a jerk.
You want to ask another question?
Give me one thing you would have told yourself.
I don't know if that works. Like, I don't know, first of all, to see your generational self is a weird paradox, and who knows. But like, to
Well,
tip,
all
tip
right,
someone off about like, even if it's like, hey man, just keep it up. It's going to be crazy. What the fuck does that mean?
Right.
What does it mean? Am I going to go crazy? Like, things have happened the way they've happened, and that's how they needed to happen. You know?
I'm going to use my new John Cena mentality to just look forward and not think about how I asked you a question that a lot of people have asked you. I'm going to try to spin it into a positive and just ask another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You got one?
I thought that was a really good one. Who was your biggest mentor when you were coming up? Like looking back into that 03, 04, 05, did you have anybody that became like a Mr. Miyagi?
No, Vince, without a doubt.
Interesting. Let's talk about that because he was on the docket. As you know, I did the documentary that you were interviewed for.
Yeah.
And we had a whole segment about the ruthless aggression. Like that was kind of your big moment.
Mm-hmm.
You were like a rational confidence young guy, John Cena. Like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'm in there.
Yeah.
So how was Vince at that point when he took you under your wing? Like, what'd you learn? How did he help you?
So he was just really kind with his time. He would explain things. Here is a person making a lot of, if not all, the choices.
Yeah.
I am always in search for a good explanation. And he would always give one. And in giving the good explanation, you would get a nugget. And because Vince had such fluency in every avenue of the business, a lot of performers are worried about the stunts. I think one of the benefits of doing 220 shows a year is pace. And if you obsess over the physical aspect of the business, you might get exhausted. You might burn out. I love the technical aspect, but then I also became obsessed with the theatrical aspect. And then I also became obsessed, especially before I won my first championship, on the way to getting relevance and the way of shifting from the obscure Saturday night program to SmackDown, I became interested in the business and not my business. Like, how can I take from this place to make as much as I can? The business. How do we get more people in the arena? And the only person it seemed like that had a good explanation for a lot of those questions was Vince. And that allowed just a wealth of information to be dumped on me. I had full faith and trust in him. I think he had full faith and trust in me. He also had a really good track record of, I think this person can carry us for a little while. And he was usually right. He wasn't afraid to try, which is another thing I learned from him. Like, do not be afraid to swing big and do not be afraid to fail. Be accountable for your
I'm glad you said that.
That's the way a professional does things. Yes. Which is why it shows that Vince McMahon is better than those greedy scumbags, as well as his big-nosed doofus son-in-law. That's one of the biggest things I've learned in life. I think people are too afraid to fail.
It sucks. Failure sucks, man.
Get back up.
I know. I
Go
understand,
for the next thing.
But it's like, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And failing is bad. Taking accountability for failure, that's even a heavier weight. But gosh, man,
what was your biggest failure? Like when you look back, like the one where you were like
blowing the completely disintegrating ruthless aggression. And it almost got me fired. So here I am, a young whippersnapper debuting in Chicago because The Undertaker's sick. I get to challenge Kurt Angle to a match on SmackDown in front of a sold-out house at the formerly known as Rosemont Horizon.
Yeah.
The Olympic gold medalist says, what makes you think you can stand out here with anybody else? What do you have that I don't? Ruthless aggression. I slap him in the face.
That was great.
That's aggressive.
Yeah.
And then the match we went on to have is pretty ruthless. But then, like, he won, but with like a roll-up pinfall. And then the aggressive, ruthless young kid goes like, man, you only got me by that much. And then the next thing they did was like a backstage taping with The Undertaker, where the ruthless, aggressive kid is so starry-eyed that The Undertaker is giving him advice. And like, hey, you did a great job. Shakes The Undertaker's hand. That is neither ruthless nor aggressive. So this is what I mean by like being ready for opportunity. That gimmick, those two words, that personality, I could either lean into being aggressive and ruthless. And we all know what those things are. We all have an idea in our head.
And you solved that point pretty well. When you were starstruck by The Undertaker, you solved it pretty well.
Of what is ruthless and what is aggression. Or I could do a 180 and be like the most passive aggressive. I was neither.
You were in no man's land.
I was neither. And I didn't have the technical ability of my peers. And they gave me this beautiful moment on a silver platter. No one told me it was an attitude. No one told me. But I didn't take advantage of it. That was my biggest failure. Because a year later, they're like, hey, we're going to let you go. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. I got it. Like I could see the cheers against Kurt Angle, then a little bit with Chris Jericho, and then I'm turning heel on Billy Kidman on Saturday Night Velocity, and nobody cares. You know, like I blew it. I blew it and was lucky enough to get a second chance.
Well, we talked about in the documentary, you're rapping on the bus.
Yeah.
And Stephanie hears it, and then all of a sudden that was it. But The Rock had a very similar kind of, there are always these moments where it's going one way and one little small thing happens and it flips.
Yeah. And in Rock's case, he was like, man, you're going to put me with these folks, just give me the mic.
Right.
And in my case, I got lucky. Somebody heard me on the mic and was like, would you be okay doing that on TV? Let me weigh my options. You're going to fire me or do this on TV? Looks like I'm your rapping kid from West Newbury. You know, like this just, yeah, sure. All right, great. I'll do it. But I think the cool thing was I essentially failed fast, you know, and I was held.
I wouldn't say you failed. You just needed the right thing to start with. That's what I want to say.
Accountable for my failures. Kid, obviously this isn't working. You know, yes, you're correct. All right. You know, like I get it. And it made me like, all right, I'm going in. And I just had a conversation with a young talent the other day who is trying to find themselves. And they expressed like, oh man, I think I have my why down to this. I said, okay, but what does that mean? Like, I went from wearing boots and tights and carrying my laptop to playing Roller Coaster Tycoon to like, you're the rap guy. Fine, I'm the rap guy. I'm going to buy my gear in the hood. I'm going to get faded up at the barbershop. I'm going to tell everybody I'm throwing this jersey out tonight. I'm going to wear diamonds and then switch the diamond for a steel chain. I'm going to wear 5-fingered rings. I'm going to wrestle in sneakers. I'm going to wrestle in jorts. I'm going to wrestle in yellow corduroy and blue sheepskin suits. I'm not going to look like everybody else. I'm going to make my own music. I'm going to freestyle everyone in the parking lot so they know it's not rigged and no one's writing my stuff. I'm going to come out with my own album. We're going to make music videos. I'm going to do concerts. I'm going to work clubs in between SmackDown and Raw and pay-per-views. Like
a good way. I'll give you credit, and it shows you have a good work ethic, John. Kudos to you. I like the idea.
It was me.
You went for it.
Wholeheartedly.
And 3 years later, I'm in a theater with Adam Carolla watching you in the Marine.
Yeah. Man, I feel like I still owe you money for that one.
No, we enjoyed it. What was...
That's also certainly a fail. I mean, I got run out of the movie business, so that's a big failure too.
Yeah, for some people.
You'll never work in this town again,
I kind of enjoyed those action movies. What do you think?
You were the one.
Well, what do you think was your career year? What do you think was your best year? Because I felt like as a writer, I have like 3 years in my head where I was really had it going that year. I really feel good about how that year went, the stuff I did, and I have fond memories of it. Do you have a year like that?
Gosh, I like this one.
25.
I like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, I'd say if I were to rate your best years, John, I'd say 2004, 2005, and 2006. 2007, yes, it was a good one. Up until 2008, I'd say those were your best years. 2009, 10, and all, you held on pretty good knowing the circumstances that went around that time.
Yeah. I mean,
was certainly probably the least taxing physically because you
Not true.
36 matches
yeah, 36 matches.
versus 220.
It's weird. Like, if you talk to a performer who's done that schedule, you don't have time to do anything else. It's kind of like being in season, but like the preseason's so tough for NFL.
Right.
The helmet feels heavy, and like the first few hits hurt. But then when you get in it, it's like, yeah, we got
You're in
another
the
game.
groove,
Don't worry
game
about it. We got
after
another
game.
game. We
Yeah.
got another game. You get that callus, and your timing gets great, and it's like you get in the zone. You get in a flow state. It's really tough to get in the flow state with like 36.
Sounds like almost like playing golf. Like you're better off playing golf 5 times a week than one.
Yeah. And then maybe like once a month.
Right. Then it just keeps
where
going back.
I'm going to give you 5 minutes to hit a bucket of balls before you go out there. Oh, sorry, you have 3 minutes to
Right.
hit a bucket of balls before you go out.
All
Like,
right, so give me your second best year.
I don't know, man.
That had to be one year where you look back, you're like, oh man, we were humming that year.
So I think the year in Miami that culminated at WrestleMania with The Rock, I thought that was a pretty, and the reason I choose the two things is because a year-long build in 2011 or whatever it was in WWE is unheard of. Is this possible? And it worked. A wrestling retirement is unheard of. Is this possible? And skeptics will be skeptics, but with one left, December 13th is it. I can be like, it worked. Was everyone critically happy? They're going to weigh in on everything. I'll always be criticized. You'll always have your opinion of like, I would love to this. They booked it wrong. He did this wrong. I know a lot of folks showed up, and I know TKO is doing well, and I know our fan base is still interested. The fact that we were able to do a tournament to get to the last person. So now the shows I'm not even on.
Who's it, Gunther and LA Knight are left?
Yeah. And the shows that I'm not even on have gravity.
And we all know who the winner will be, knowing knows, man. It will axiomatically be Gunther. You don't need to waste your time watching it.
And like, oh man, I want to kind of see what goes on. What a cool idea of like, well, John isn't going to be there, but the presence and the idea of this. And then of course it leans into like my core value of meritocracy.
Yeah.
And same thing with on the 13th. Man, we'll give you a chance. See what you can do. Please, I'm begging any young performer that gets out there, steal the show. I would love them to just talk about you and not me. That means I have done my
You
job.
did the performer thing again.
I want to send the message to who's ever on the
That
thing.
was great.
Yeah.
Gunther has to be in top 5 this century of guys that I'm sure is a great wrestler, but the next day you're in the shower just like, fuck. I mean, those chest slaps.
You took me to a weird place. I don't know. Talk more
No,
about
you're
that.
just like the chest slap. I just can't imagine the next day. Those seem like they hurt. I would say the Lesnar suplexes would be the number one. The Gunther chest slaps. I don't know what else is in the pantheon for you for like the next day. You're just like, oh, I'm feeling it.
I think for me, it's performers who lean on like really like beating the hell out of you. There is a certain magic to what we do.
Yeah.
And
so you're talking like the hard clothesline / just
I would borderline into say like unsafe striking, unsafe maneuvers, like where I don't know, the feeling that the realism trumps the ability to like what should be first and foremost is we're going to give the best we can and we're going to walk out of there.
and nobody gets hurt.
And there is
And that's the way it should be. You brought a good point, Bill.
certain magic to our business. And there are certain performers, Brock is one, where his stuff is physical, but he's one of the smoothest. Like, he's just a really great performer. Randy Orton is another one. It's like, great performer. And his stuff looks great, and his timing's beautiful. Seth Rollins is another one. CM Punk is another one. The list of folks who understand the magic.
Yeah.
And again, I don't fault anyone for their style. It's their lane to choose. But I do know, for me personally speaking, my math would be a whole lot less if every night I beat the tar out of my opponent and I expected them to beat the tar out of me. You know, you ride down that injury avenue a lot more frequent than you would if you understood the magic of our business.
Nick Khan wanted your Mount Rushmore, so this isn't my question.
Yeah, sure. Mount Rushmore is what is it?
He wanted your 4. He said you would actually give it to us. No, not
Jefferson,
presidents.
Washington, and Lincoln.
Is
that Mount Rushmore?
No,
you
got to give us the 4.
Is that Mount Rushmore?
Wrestling Mount Rushmore.
You're saying that's not Mount Rushmore?
We need a wrestling Mount Rushmore from you.
That's mine. That's what I'm doing.
Come on.
Lincoln wrestled the bear.
You can either give me
Washington wrestled the British.
The 4 best you ever saw,
Roosevelt
or the 4
wrestled
best
the
you ever
Depression.
wrestled. No, you got to do it. He demanded. He's in control of this December 13th show. You got to do right by him.
I would like to think that the relationship I have with Nick Khan, he does right by me and I do right by him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So Rushmore's off?
I gave you it. I gave you Mount Rushmore. Can you ask another question?
Can you give me the 3? So you don't want to do 3 best wrestlers you ever wrestled against?
That's a great question.
That's basically Rushmore.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You talked about Mount Rushmore. I gave you Mount Rushmore. What is your real question? What do you want?
3 best.
The 3 best.
So you've 3 best people you ever wrestled.
The 3 best people I ever wrestled.
Where you
Shawn
were like
Michaels,
marveling at how good
Seth
they were.
Rollins.
Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins.
Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins. And it is very tough to narrow down to a 3rd. I've had incredible chemistry with people. It's tough because
so let's concentrate on those 2 because Michaels is usually somebody's answer for this question, right? So what was it about him that was just different than all these other guys?
He can make this a champion. He would look at that and be like, okay, need to bump around for that book. And then I'm going to super kick the book and then beautifully fall on top of it at the same time. He just, his performance and Seth is of the same vein. His performance is like Randy falls into this category. But then again, there's like guys who have had crazy chemistry with AJ Styles, CM Punk, Kevin Owens, Dwayne, Edge.
All right, now you're just listing guys.
But like I've had,
it was interesting. Those were the first 2
that 23 years. I think those are the 2.
Yeah,
because of their they can just work with anyone. And I've been lucky enough that like I was anyone a few nights. You know,
who was the one that jumped the highest from where they started? Where years later you were like, "Wow, you really did it."
Cody Rhodes.
Cody. Okay, explain that one.
He asked for his release from the company and left.
But did you feel like he was a good wrestler when he left?
I felt like he had. The first time I heard that kid speak was at the Hall of Fame in Chicago when him and his brother inducted his dad, and I'm like front row going, I'm out of a job. Like or Los Angeles it was. Like wherever I'm like, this kid is coming for me. I better go back and practice. And, generational talents of big shoes to fill. And gosh, he did the best he could with what he had, but he realized that, start up here and then you watch the stock go down. And then essentially the company dissolves of like, I got to go. And then I'm like, man, what is going on with this guy? And
a professional way of putting it, even though Cody Rhodes was like a mid-card level guy. But is he a competent wrestler? Yes, he is. But in terms of talent, mid-card is his ceiling. That's where he belongs.
Back he comes. And he's our guy now. I don't think there's any arc better than that. Like to be kicked out or to be out of the club and then not only earn your way back in, but...
No. I'll correct you on this, John. He did not earn his way back in. He prostituted his father's debt to get his way.
Earn your way back in and prove that you can compete and perform every day at the top level, not a top level, like the top level.
And it seems like he learns.
And also, I'd like to rectify you on this. Because the standards have gone down very much. Instead of having people like you to compete with, the scene that he has to compete with is a bunch of mediocrity. Mediocrity is mostly composed of no man's favorites.
Some stuff from you that he talks about. Like, I think you were an important person for him.
Man, whatever anyone has between their two ears is just a matter of like your application of it. You know, if that's the case, I'm grateful for the moments I've shared with Cody. I'm grateful for the moments I still share and will share. But he's doing it, and I think that's important. Like, he's doing it, regardless of where he got it from. Like I said, I got tons of information from my mentor. I think that the best way to honor that information and honor that wisdom is to put rubber to road and make something happen.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
Was he that much of a leader behind the scenes?
Yes.
Was he the number one?
The most respected personality. And
you could even feel that in 2003 as you're coming up. You're like, oh, that guy. Don't fuck with him.
Until about like recently. And even still, I think that his name still carries weight. I don't know because I'm not a new performer. I know what I know.
Yeah.
But in looking at, like, I'm so grateful to have experienced phases of the business.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for where it is now. The locker room essentially doesn't need a spokesperson because all of our people are professionals. You know?
Not all. Guys like you and guys of your generation, yes. But today's marks are not, sadly.
It's not like pirates or herding cats anymore. Or like, we don't need an internal police force because we're all professionals. But that being said, a lot of the fraternity, a lot of the bonds, which led to great programming, that stuff has dissolved. So it's weird. You want to look back and romanticize how things were. But how things were was like, man, you better get a $200 advance on tonight's show because you're not going to get paid.
Right.
So that's just how they were. And I had fun and great times under being welcomed into that fraternal business. And he was very instrumental in that. I had my first drink with The Undertaker.
What do you mean, like first drink ever?
Oh, yeah. I was 26.
That was your first drink?
And he was like, and I sat down. I'm like, hey. He's like, boom. I'm like, hey, I don't, boom. You know what? I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Because I have this wise figure who is very stoic, doesn't say a lot, welcome me in. Like, that is, okay, I understand why I don't do this. But I also understand that I want to do this. I'm okay. I'm going to give this a try. And I'm so glad I did. Because in that one conversation, I see us at that bar. Some of the lessons he gave still stick with me.
Yeah.
The two things I vividly remember from that conversation: always take care of your crew. He never let any of the boys pay. Never say goodbye. I got so hammered when I was like, man, when is it time to go? It's like, go whenever you want. Just don't ever say goodbye. And I was
don't ever say goodbye. That's such good advice.
And I was so happy.
The Undertaker's an Irish goodbye guy?
I guess so, but that was
maybe he's Irish.
That was a tip he bestowed on me.
It's a good one.
I was so out of place. I turned to him and was like, man, thanks so much. And then so many people that I'd never talked to, I said goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
But then it just put me right back in the seat, and I stayed there a little bit longer. But I really thought it was important to know that, like, he was like, always take care of your crew.
Take care of your crew, Irish goodbye.
When it's time to go, it's time to go. So when it's time to go, it's time to go. It's time. We got one left. You know, it's time to go. So, but
and that's a good advice coming from a leader of that time.
He was tremendously respected. And I think because of that, he certainly had a great relationship with Vince and could act as a conduit. Anyone who can bridge that gap. And that's another thing. There's no gap anymore.
Yeah.
There's no like Office and the boys. It's like everybody's in it together. Everyone's accessible. You can go up to Paul. It's not like Vince wasn't accessible, but Vince also did everything. So now, like, Vince's brain is split in a bunch of different places. There's Paul, there's Nick, there's Chris Legentil, there's Matt Altman, there's anybody in talent relations. There's like, you can get answers through all these folks. Justin Scalise with live events, Derek Castleman with merch, and Ethan with Fanatics. Like, I can get a good explanation without spending or asking the man to spend minutes he don't have. You know, so it's very little, it's us versus them. It's all we. You know, it's like, I like it like that. I like it like that because I was never a big us versus them guy.
Did you ever think the WWE could survive and thrive without Vince after seeing like you just mentioned all the things that he did?
So of all the things he did and of all the things he taught me, one piece that was very important is that no one is irreplaceable. And that's the truth. The one thing that needs to stand firm is the consumer's belief in what we do. And Vince has so much knowledge. I think what's happened is unfortunate because you have this individual with so much depth of field who can still offer things, and we no longer can pull from that well. But it doesn't mean we don't have able-bodied folks who can't put on creative programming. So
yeah,
I never wanted Vince to go because I love him, and I know
So did I. I didn't want Vince to go.
how much he loves the business. But he taught me, like, we're all going to go. All of us. And he taught me that not only through saying, through his actions. I was there the day he fired Stone Cold. He missed a date. Got to go. His biggest attraction. I gotta let people know this isn't okay. So things happen. We got to let people know this isn't okay. It's time for you to go. Everybody goes, man. Everybody goes. So because of his words, yeah.
So you're either going to be wrestling Gunther
Or LA Knight.
or LA Knight.
Yeah. That's a great topic shift. Look at you.
Well,
But we all know who you're gonna wrestle, and we know how this match is gonna go, knowing how the previous one went by that big nose doofus.
Watch. Look at that. Right
'cause I've
there.
had
You
you-
say, hey, yeah, you got it.
I've had you for a long period of time, and now it's time to
My God, it's tomorrow.
I know. It's been here a while. And then that's going to be it, and you're going to actually retire.
Yes.
And you have Little Brother coming out, which I'm supposed to promote because Dave Burnett is my friend, and he's one of the producers.
I don't know when
you
that's
wanted to
coming
mention
out.
that. Whenever it comes
fun
out.
comedy, me and Eric Andre.
Yeah, it's
buddy
coming out like
comedy.
next year at some point.
Yeah. You'll see me at WWE events. I'm going to be involved as long as they will have me until I need to be replaced. But I will look like this.
So you can be involved as like a personality /
I will make sure you get to your seat,
facilitator.
and I will go up and
Announcer?
I don't.
Nah, you don't really like announcing.
No, I would love to do it. I think the announcing crew we have now. I'm such a big fan of Stu Bennett and Wade Barrett. I think he is carving out an.
Yet he hates you. You're being a bit professional, John. I'll give you credit. And how can you be a fan of his? He's extremely annoying. He gives me eardrums. I can't listen to him less than 5 seconds without needing a headache, without having a headache.
Excellent legacy for himself. I know Michael Cole's getting a little long in the tooth. He's probably wanting to move on. I would love to sit at the table. I think we have, and I love listening to Big E call
This
stuff.
would be a good angle for you where you're jealous of Michael Cole. This whole time
But
you
I've
got to sit
always
here
been
as we all
jealous
took these
of
bumps.
Michael Cole.
I knew I was better than you this whole time.
Yeah,
listening to you
just when I
announce.
think I'm out, you reel me back in. You have to have the time to regularly commit to be an announcer.
Yeah.
Like I know Pat McAfee struggled with that. He split himself in a bunch of different directions, and gosh, I don't blame anybody for going until you can't go.
Right.
But like he didn't have it in the tank. Like he can't be everywhere at once. So
Yeah, I actually thought he was doing a good job as the
he was, but like
announcer, but at some point you can have just too many jobs in too many places.
so that was you were like, hey man, 36 dates must have been easy this year. I did too many jobs. The original
Yeah, because you're doing a movie as
Man, I was
you're
in-
also doing this.
I was in Budapest going from like flying from Budapest, like do all night on set in Budapest, fly to Indy, do Indy, fly back, land, drop my stuff off, go film. And like doing that until post WrestleMania, like back and forth to Morocco and Budapest and all these crazy places that weren't easy commutes. And it's just, you think you can do it. He's like, I'll sleep on the plane or whatever. You don't. It doesn't happen. And then you get upside down and you're like super fatigued, but like I threaded the needle just enough. The plan originally was to do like a full year. This is just goes to show that my ignorance of the business. I wanted to do 220 dates. Just take a year off of everything, hop on a bus, do a full WWE calendar, and like totally say goodbye. Thank goodness that the business isn't like that anymore. Because I would be, if you took a gingerbread man, just broke him, I'd be done. They only needed me for 36.
Did you ever ask your half brother Dom Toretto for any advice or no?
I ask Vin for advice all the time.
You do?
Yeah, and
you stayed in touch with Vin?
We text back and forth all the time.
Really?
He's a really good dude, man. And like he's there's another guy who's like he keeps to himself, but if you know him, he's like a really wise, genuine dude.
I love how loyal he is to Paul Walker.
Man,
he keeps the memory alive in all these different ways, and it always seems completely authentic to me. He just like really loved the guy, and he always wants to like bring him up in a good way.
I also know he cares about his body of work, and he cares about the people he works with.
Yeah,
and that's also cool. You know, a cool guy. Shout out to Vin. I definitely keep in touch with him.
I mean, it's funny because it's not like you weren't famous, but that franchise is basically like you're entering the Marvel universe when you're in a Fast movie.
And I get to be a Toretto.
Yeah.
I get to be Jacob Toretto when they're like.
I had some notes about whether the
bring it all on.
I don't know, the relations, but I just didn't really seem like you guys had a lot in common genetically.
I got to wear the cross. And as they would say, it's in the books.
Do you have to do any fake driving preparation? Any sort of, were they teaching you how to
green screen drive?
Because they have a car full of cameras, right? And it just seems like it's this weirdly hard acting that you wouldn't think would be hard.
So,
because you got to pretend like things are coming, this is happening, guys crossing.
Two things about me. One, I love to drive. And two, I never, thank goodness, shut off my imagination.
Yeah.
So like doing Bumblebee, working with Bumblebee was a long stick with a tennis ball. Peacemaker, Eagly was a gray bowling pin. Fast, a lot of times you're driving green screen.
Yeah.
I just a trip to imagination land.
Just throw yourself into it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like people didn't know who you were in the Fast universe?
I don't expect
who is this guy?
That's the thing. Like, I don't expect anyone to know who I am. And I don't care.
Because it feels like and I'm a card carrying Fast and Furious guy, but it's like this universe that's over here in a lot of ways. And it's massive and it's global.
So is WWE.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's almost like I wonder what the overlap was between the two worlds.
Again, like I can't say how much WWE's prepared me for who I am. Here's a genre where you can go around the world and little kids come up to you and do this, but no one in entertainment knows you. So a lot of the opportunities I've had, people have no effing clue who I am, and that's okay because I just want to do good. I figure it's just like when in wrestling, when nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
All right, all I got to do is go out there and get the noise, and then I'll get another chance. Just go out there and get the noise. And I don't care that people don't know who I am, that don't know my story. What I care is at one point, someone was like, I'm going to bet on you. And maybe it's to say a few lines or a cameo or whatever. Dom needs a brother. Connect the dots however you want. We would like to bet on you.
I feel like that brother would have come up in the first 8 movies.
Hey, man, I'm glad it came up in the 9th, and I'm glad it was me. So in the bottom of the 9th, I made it in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Snuck in there.
Just try to do the best you can with the opportunities and don't care. Like, I never care about who knows me and who doesn't.
I don't even know where Vin ends and Dom begins at this point. I just picture him like hanging out, like he invites you to his birthday party and he gives a speech to everybody and he's like, to mi familia, and does like one of the
Coronas all around.
Yeah, and just the Coronas and does this whole thing. I just feel like he's merged.
I bet there are folks out there that would have that perspective about me. To say, like, I don't know where John Cena, the WWE character, ends and where, like, John begins.
Right.
So,
well, you were the first era of the people that didn't have the gimmick, or like you actually just used your name.
You want to talk again about luck? That was not my choice.
Right. And now that's basically almost everybody.
They went from an attitude era of like edgy TV, and for a hot second, they were like, we want more realism. I snuck in.
Yeah.
Like in them, like the Indiana Jones, where the thing is like closing, and I snuck in. Like me, Brock, Randy, Batista, Shelton Benjamin, under the thing. We got it. You know, and it's so many people would look at that and be like, well, you don't own your name. I don't care. So many people, because of what WWE has done, have put the IP out there, have allowed me to get so many opportunities. So I could be greedy and try to cash in on, like, give me every shekel that is attached to that name because it's my name. Or I could be grateful to be like, because of that name, I did this, this, and this, which they have nothing to do with. And then...
And that shows that you are a grateful person, John. Something today's ham and eggers are not.
And it vaulted into this, this, and this, which they have nothing to do with. And every once in a while, there's a ball cap and t-shirt thing that they absolutely get what they've earned. You know, but it's weird because it's like, you got to use your real name. But some people come at it from the perspective of like, do they own your name? That's weird. It just is what it is. I'm so lucky.
I'd like to see you at a couple more big Boston sports games. I think would be a good 2026 and beyond for you. Like, lean into the Boston thing a little more. We count your titles.
You would like to. Yeah.
27 titles in the 21st century, thanks to you.
You count them weird.
What do you mean?
You counted them weird.
What? Well, I counted the WWF ones. WWF/E. Were they all E, or were there a couple Fs in there?
I think they were all E.
They're all E? I forget.
Yes, they're all E.
Never really. I always thought they should have won that lawsuit. I get it. The other one was first, but it always bugged me.
Sometimes it's not worth it.
Yeah, I guess not.
And
like, they moved seamlessly to WWE.
What a great way, again, to like, no, we're going in this direction. No one's going to get it.
Yeah.
Until everyone gets it.
All right.
And man, I had folks in like 2014. You still with WWF? Yo, it has been WWE for like a decade now. Now, no one.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
The F is out. So, good choice.
You had to get rid of the F in one of your moves, right?
Yes.
When they went PG.
So again, a good explanation, right? Brock Lesnar's move was the F5.
Yeah,
and I had a similar move where you pick a guy up. We both pick guys up. He is a little bit more strong, where he helicopters the guy.
Yours was the FU,
but it came out of nowhere. Like I'm a middle. So again, the match is not about me. I'm a middleman for Brock to beat to go to the Undertaker.
Yes, when it established that feud was a very good one from a storytelling point, because it establishes how great you are, John. You are like, I don't care if he's a main champion. I'm coming after you. You broke my leg and all. Kudos to you. Much respect. And the origin of the name FU was a parody for Brock's F5. Your finish is the F5 and mine's the FU.
But the more you can make that middle match exciting,
the
cooler it is, because it's a good one-off for the fans. So I didn't try to make Brock look bad, but I was abrasive with my trash talk and was like, you have the F5, I have the FU. And that's where
a pretty good line.
That's where the name of the move happened. So I kept using it. And then as we evolved into PG, I was told like, hey, we can't use that anymore. And then switching it to the attitude adjustment has been incredible, because like, it's so weird that art imitates life. Like I'm always trying to change people's perspective or offer them a new perspective. So literally I'm trying or leaning into the fact that you can adjust your attitude no matter what at any moment. And that like really changes the dynamic of anything. You know, it's what if the move was still called the FU, it'd be tough for me to sit here.
Like, seriously.
You know what I'm saying? It evolved because it had to, but rather than swimming upstream, it's the AA, it's the attitude adjustment.
All right, December 13th, Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
We don't know who you're fighting yet. I hope for the sake of your chest, it's LA Knight, so you don't have like dark maroon slap marks.
It's the last one.
Yeah, it'll be fine. All right.
And I got two.
Keep going.
I got two big old.
Who's favored in that
TDs.
match?
What's that?
Gunther versus LA Knight. Who's the favorite?
Man.
It's pretty close. Two guys who've been doing really well the last couple of years.
I like the edge that LA Knight has. Like he operates on a nothing to lose sort of thing. I think many times many times he might be his own biggest hurdle. But gosh, if there's a dude willing to bet on himself, it's LA Knight, and I admire that.
It would be fitting if you beat somebody with the LA in his name in your last match.
It would also be great if it was in Boston. But none of that shit is in our control.
Yeah. It sounds like you just would have done Tampa.
36 in Tampa would be glorious.
It feels like you're becoming like a Bucks fan. I don't even know if you're focused on this Patriots renaissance.
This is gonna burn this room up. I don't even watch anymore, man.
You're too busy. You're flying back and forth from Budapest and you're wrestling and making movies.
Takes time. I don't even know what day it is, man.
Yeah. All right, John Cena. Congrats on everything. I'm glad we.
That's how we're ending it. We're ending it on a downer of like I don't even watch sports anymore, man.
Dude, we're ending it on.
That's how it goes. That's the last moment we have.
Well, I could make you do a freestyle rap, but
no, you can't make me do anything. You could ask me to, and I'll say no. That's a great idea. That's no.
I'm happy for you that you feel like this last year was in some ways your favorite year. Like that's a great way to go out. How many people get to retire on their terms where they're actually happy with that played out?
You used it. You said it was my terms. I would do it in infinity if I could. This is not my terms. These aren't my terms.
What is your terms?
My terms is do it forever.
But you can control when you stop doing it, and you're controlling it, which is a good thing.
Well, again, I asked if like, hey, company, do you think this is a good business idea? And they agreed. So we're able to do it. What I love most about the year is I think it will keep on giving moments after it's done.
Yeah.
I think people will begin to continue to reflect and like, oh, but maybe this was the story they were trying to tell. I think
No, it will only go downhill and they'll dig themselves in a hole very deep, deeper than they've already done before. But no, they'll be too stubborn to admit. You'll have Nick Khan saying, oh, I make money, I don't care about da-da-da-da-da. But you're making money in a short term, while in the long run, you're killing your company. How does that make any sense, you dummy?
It's weird to talk about it because WWE is so at the moment, like something happens on television and people are like, I hate this, or like, this is the greatest. And it has been a year-long story.
Yeah.
And people will digest it once the last one happens on the 13th. And then I think they'll reflect, especially when they realize that I'm not coming back. And then like you could dive into like, oh man, what were they really trying to do across a year? It's never been done before. I could not give an ounce more of effort. I don't think there's a single thing I would have changed. And I like that it isn't perfect. I like it. Like I like that parts changed. I like that dates and cities changed. I like that the last one isn't in Boston. All the stuff that like, it would be perfect if. No, life isn't perfect. Like you just do the best you can with what you got. And I personally like all that stuff. That's
a good way of looking at things.
I like the patience angle is good too, because you're right. Everybody's like, yes, no, quick, move on to the next thing. Scroll up and down on my reel.
And you know why? Because you're dealing with Cena later.
Something as simple as like in my last title defense, having Liv Morgan assist and beat me in the same way that I turned on Cody, but she did it better than me.
Yeah.
Just being able to like, hey, wait, you're going to get a call back to this moment in February, in November, but just wait for it. Wait for it. And being able to pay it off that late in the game. Like, I don't know. And whether that means anything to anyone else but me, I like to know that there's not a moment I'm not thinking of. There's not.
No, it will go down as a moment of you getting cucked by 3 ladies. John, come on. I know you're trying to be as much of a professional as you can, but things have to be said the way they are. Come on.
We're doing everything we can. Or I'm doing everything I can. So I just, I hope if it doesn't, nothing ever stands the test of time, but I'll be very good on the 13th, knowing that like, all right, I gave the best I could this year. I truly, all the wisdom, tricks, knowledge, physical ability, strength I have left, effort, seconds, time, advice, whatever. I don't have anything left, and the 13th is going to be special in that regard of like putting a period on that.
Did Dom Toretto RSVP yet or no?
Can't make it. He's got to save the world.
Too bad.
I don't want to.
That's right.
I don't want to tell
selfish.
you what it's about, but there's cars involved.
He gets selfish that way with the cars.
Duty calls.
John Cena, thank you. Great to do this.
Thank you.
So overall, I think that's about it for this interview. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to it. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you aren't subscribed already, and if you like similar content, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification. Share around as much as possible, and give this video as much likes as you can in order to help your boy grow and be favored by the algorithm. So with that being said, I'll see you next time, and peace out.